It's that time of the week again. It's that time where we take a look at the final edition of the Israel Brief before we head into the weekend. So guys, get comfortable. Thank you for joining me. You're amongst friends, you're amongst family. I am Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you every Monday to Thursday by these guys, Lay of the Land, where we take a look at those top stories making headlines. Now today is a significant day. Today is day 195 of Israel's war with Hamas. Now, you can't see my whole shirt, but it says, "Bring them home now." And the most important message, I think, that we can share with the world, especially as we remember that there are 133 hostages, 97 of them alive, 36 of them presumed to have been murdered by Hamas, still being held in captivity. We want every single one of them home now, including 2 Israeli civilians taken hostage or captured in 2014, Avera Mengistu and Hisham al-Sayed, and the remains of 2 soldiers who fell in 2014's Operation Protective Edge, Oron Shaul and Hadar Golden. We want every single one of them back now. Let's take a look at top stories, and the first story is very, very distressing. Video has surfaced of the kidnapping of Yarden Bibas. Now, the Bibas family have been almost the face of the hostages. We all are familiar with the images of our 2 youngest hostages still being held by Hamas, baby Kfir, who turned 1 in captivity, and his older brother Ariel, taken with their mother Shiri. Now, the father, Yarden, was taken captive separately to the rest of his family, and the video is extremely upsetting. It shows him surrounded not only by Hamas terrorists, but also by Palestinian civilians, and at least 1 journalist as they film him being beaten with rocks, blood pouring from his head, and his beard being pulled and torn. And that image brings back something very painful from our history, and that's the image from the Holocaust of religious Jewish men having their beards pulled, ripped out and trimmed by the Nazis. Deeply, deeply upsetting. To date, we don't know the whereabouts of either Yarden Bibas or his wife and his 2 beautiful children, the 2 beautiful redhead children, Ariel and Kfir. It's a massive, massive worry for all of us in Israel. We are still very much stuck on the 7th of October, and we won't rest until we get all of our hostages home. The last indication that we had of Yarden Bibas was in a propaganda video released by Hamas, which filmed him being told that his family were killed. Of course, we can't even imagine the distress. We could see it plainly on his face. We know that Hamas lies. We don't know to date the whereabouts of this family. President Herzog shared the footage to his account on X, saying, "The world must not be silent in the face of such crimes. Bring them home now." Now, we are 195 days since the 7th of October. The world is forgetting as it focuses elsewhere. We need to be a constant reminder, and the Israel Brief will be a constant reminder that we want them home now. Yesterday, Iranian-sponsored terror proxy Hezbollah struck the northern town of Al-Aramshe. This is an Arab town with a cornet rocket as well as drones, injuring 19 people. This includes 14 soldiers and 5 civilians. This is the highest casualty number to date in the north of Israel. Well, those 19 people still remain hospitalized. This is according to the Galilee Medical Center. At least 1 of them is in critical condition. Most of the injuries are as a result of the blast or from shrapnel. We will continue to follow the story closely. Since last Saturday night, or the early hours of Sunday morning's attack by Iran, unprecedented, absolutely historical in the annals of warfare, at least 48 countries have issued a joint statement including or condemning Iran's attack on Israel. This includes countries as diverse as, believe it or not, Ireland, Canada, France, the United States, the United Kingdom, Montenegro, Papua New Guinea, Finland, Sweden, and so many other countries, of course, except South Africa. I know many of you are from South Africa. You're watching this. We know that South Africa is an ally to the Iranian regime. Yesterday, the foreign secretaries of both Germany and the United Kingdom were in the country meeting with President Herzog, Foreign Minister Israel Katz, as well as Prime Minister Netanyahu, who has said to them that, we understand, we don't want to escalate, we understand the world's concerns. However, Israel will make our own decisions. Having said this, I definitely think that Israel will consult with all our allies and keep them updated and get their feedback as to what our response will be. Now, of course, there is a lot of conjecture in the media. A Qatari newspaper reporting today that Israel has agreed that in exchange for going into Rafah to demolish those last remaining battalions of Hamas, Israel will not attack Iran. Until we hear it from Israeli officials, that is not true. Another report on NBC saying that Israel is unlikely to retaliate against Iran until after Passover. Well, Passover starts on Monday night, so all we can do is say we'll see what happens. All I know is that the only people who are privy to this kind of information will be the war cabinet and the military and security establishment under very strict confidentiality. President Biden has penned an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal urging urgent support for Israel. I think what we are seeing now is many are starting to wake up to what Israel has been speaking about for years. You will notice that Israelis have stood by the people of Iran. The Iranian people have stood by the people of Israel. You will not see a pro-Israel rally without the old Iranian flags, the sun and the lion, being proudly displayed next to Israeli flags. And this is for a reason. We all understand the massive threat that the Iranian regime poses, not just to Israel, not just to our region, but to the entire world. And we will be watching and we will bring you the news of the developments around the story every Monday to Thursday. What you might not see in your mainstream media, you will definitely see right here on the Israel Brief. And to take us into the weekend, some really positive news. Rachel Goldberg-Polin, who is the mother of kidnapped Hirsch Goldberg-Polin, has been named to Time magazine's list of 100 most influential people in the world for 2024. Rachel, along with her husband John, have been absolute tireless advocates, raising awareness of the plight not just of their son Hirsch, who was kidnapped from the Nova Festival on the 7th of October. His one arm blown off by Hamas, but also the plight of all of our hostages. We need to keep our hostages, all 133 of them, alive and sadly dead, in the global consciousness every single day until we get them all back home. And with that brings me to the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. Guys, please don't forget to check out our website, and you can find us at www.layoftheland.online. If you like this content, please subscribe. our YouTube channel down below at the Israel Brief. Click on that red subscribe button. Let's grow our community. The more of you who subscribe, the more the daily Israel Brief gets pushed out into the world. We are on X at Lay of the Land 5 and on Facebook at Lottel Site. So I want to wish you all a wonderful, a peaceful, a restful weekend. Shabbat Shalom. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you spend it with your loved ones. Much love from me to you. God bless you. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and let's catch up with each other on Monday.